Hey, we all get messages like this one from Joe asking us to suggest some times for a meeting. And as you know, it's a real pain to try to compose a reply to this by hand, going back and forth from your calendar to email, typing in the answers. It's error prone and it takes a lot of time. Well, that's helping you with that is what Calzy is all about. So let me show you how it works. I'll just go to a new tab here and go to Calzy. You'll see a welcome screen the very first time, and also it'll ask us the first time to connect our Google calendars, which we'll do. You only have to do this once. Log into Google, give it permission to see your calendars. And we're done here. And now we're in the main window of Calzy, which looks a lot like Google Calendar. In fact, it's very, very similar. You can look at it in a day view or a month view or a week view, which is the default. And you can navigate around using the little calendar on the side here, just like you would expect. Anyway, to reply to Joe's request for times, I want to look here. It looks like I have a little bit of time on Friday here, and in the afternoon. And we go to the next week, and I've got some time here on Monday. So these are the times I'm free. I've swiped them out with the mouse, and I'll just click Next when I'm done. You can see a preview of all the times I selected. I can say Copy to Clipboard, and now go back to Joe. Reply, sure. How about one of these? And I'll hit Paste. And there are all my times in the time zone for Joe to see. And that's the basics of Calzy. In the next videos, we'll show you a lot more advanced features. In this video, I'll show you some other things you can do while picking times. Recall that by swiping the mouse, I can pick an hour here on Monday the 8th, but I can also pick an entire day, Tuesday the 9th, or a range of days. As I pick the times, they show up over here. Once you pick a time, you can move it to a different day, you can make it longer, you can delete it. All of those things are easy to do. Notice that the calendar by default shows you things in 30-minute blocks. If you want to change the blocks, you can change them to 15 minutes or anything else to have more control of what you're picking. You can change the view as I showed you earlier. You can also change the time zone. We're here in Pacific time. I can switch to Eastern very quickly, and all the times change automatically. If you have a busy calendar, like this one, sometimes showing all the calendars that you have in Google is too much. You can turn things off just by unclicking them this way. There's also some shortcuts, like show me only my primary calendar, and that's the arrow, in this case my main calendar. I can show all calendars, and I can always restore back to normal, which is the Google default. So those are some things you can do while picking times. In this video, I'll show you some additional things you can do with the times that you've selected. Here on Friday the 9th, I've picked a 6-hour block to offer back to Joe. Remember that Joe was looking for an hour of my time. So I'm free for 6 hours on Friday. When I hit Next, you'll notice that Calzy automatically split those up into 1-hour chunks. And that's because Calzy by default suggests them in 1 hour. If Joe was asking for 90 minutes, I would just change that to 90 and notice that Calzy changes it from 60-minute pieces to 90-minute pieces, one right after the other, all in that time I was free. Sometimes it's helpful to present your times as a table. So this is really useful if you're organizing a meeting and you want to have all of your people reply with their availability. You can use Calzy for that too. Just swipe the times, come here, put people in the participants, and Calzy will automatically make a table for you. And that's really nice, again, for people replying. Also notice that Calzy is defaulting to the time zone that I used when I made the times, but if the meeting's actually happening in a different time zone, like Hawaii, I can change it here, and all the times just change automatically. And people, when we copy to the clipboard, they'll know the time zone that all these times are in. Finally, there's some advanced things you can do. If you'll notice here, let's go back to Pacific time. We said we were free from 10 to 4, so these are all those 90-minute pieces in 10 to 4, and there's 4 of them. But really, there's more than that if you think about it. I can ask Calzy to stagger times on the hour, and now what it's doing is it's creating overlapping options. 10 to 11:30, 11 to 12:30, 12 to 1:30, and so on. And that's because those are all 90-minute slots, but they overlap starting on the hour. And that's useful if you want Calzy to be a little more aggressive in the times it presents. In any event, we can go ahead and copy to the clipboard just like before and send this to our people. You may be wondering whether it's safe and secure to use Calzy with your Google Calendar data, and the short answer is it is. Calzy never stores any of your appointments on a server or anywhere else. It's just a browser application that's accessing your existing Google Calendar data, which is stored at Google and protected by Google. There's no intermediate server, there's no copies being made, and you can revoke the rights that Calzy has to that information at any time. Let's see how that works. Before we do, let's go to my Google account, and I'll go to look at apps with account access, and you'll see that there's Calzy listed as one of the apps that can access my calendar and my contacts, which is what we approved when we first set it up. If I want, I can go to Calzy and say disconnect my Google Calendar, and the first thing you'll notice, of course, is all my events disappeared. But more importantly, if I go here and refresh, you'll see that Calzy has been eliminated from the list of applications that can access my calendar data on the Google servers. So there's no way now for Calzy or a hacker to access your account in your calendars in any way. So it's really safe.